Welcome to episode 7 of the On a Family Basis podcast. My name is Jake.
I'm Dan.
I'm Dallas.
And I'm Ben.
And we are 4 cousins taking a lap around the bases, talking about baseball, having splaffs. So, as we always do for the beginning of our episodes, we talk about what we have been watching this past week. So, Dan, what have you been watching this past week in sports, but also just in TV?
Besides your cholesterol, what have you been watching?
I can honestly say I did not watch the Super Bowl. So I didn't watch anything really in sports this week. I'm gonna be honest. I did not. I dropped the ball all on sports. I think I watched maybe 10 minutes of gameplay, but I did watch the halftime show. I recorded my kids dancing to music that I grew up, with, which was quite enjoyable. But that's about it. I didn't watch anything really in sports, or let alone TV. Yeah.
No curling?
No
curling.
I really don't get into the Olympics. I'll be honest. I really don't get into it at all.
It's Dan. There's the Olympics, and then there's curling. All right.
Oh my gosh.
There's a league above the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's true athleticism.
Like, you want to talk about bobsled? We talk about bobsled.
What do you know about bobsled?
How many people are in a bobsled team?
Well, I've actually watched both this week, so
Nice.
Apparently that's my thing. But Dallas, why don't you go? What have you been watching?
I did actually watch I watched most of the Super Bowl, and I watched Boba Fett. I'm keeping up with that because my guy, Baby Yoda.
Yo, spoilers, bro. I'm only 4 episodes in.
Not his name.
I watch all Star Wars for Baby Yoda, just in case you get a sighting. That's what I mean.
Just in case he's there. Sure.
If they put a movie out into theaters, I will go see it in hopes that Baby Yoda's there, and then riot if he's not.
I'm gonna need you to tone down
during Pride and Prejudice, where there was no chance Baby Yoda was going to be in that movie. He didn't care. He still did it.
Went to Rogue One, no Baby Yoda. What is this?
He went to the Titanic, no Baby Yoda.
No Baby Yoda. He would have saved the ship, though.
He probably could have. I obviously watched the Super Bowl because I'm not a crazy person. It was a great game. It was a lot of fun.
I did other things, but I just didn't watch it.
Yeah. You had your time to talk, all right?
Eat the cat poop. Eat the cat poop.
I will not eat cat poop. No, I watched the Super Bowl. It was a really good game. It was a lot of fun. Like Dan said, the halftime show was fantastic. I do want to know how long they kept 50 Cent hanging upside down for, because that was pretty cool. Someone said, how long did they keep 50 Cent hanging upside down? And he goes, 2 quarters. That's a great joke. That's a great joke.
You can see the video. It is literally like mere seconds before Dre and Snoop point down to when he actually gets into position.
Yeah.
It's literally like 3 seconds. He like walks across the stage, pulls himself up, hooks his legs up, and is like hanging for maybe 3 to 4 seconds before Dre and Snoop do their transition.
He would have if it were anything.
He just was passed out. He's up there for 3 minutes.
Can you imagine the camera cuts to him and he's just knocked out?
Yeah. All the blood rushed to his head.
Dude, Twitter and Instagram were bashing 50 Cent, dude. They were like, man, it's not 50 Cent anymore. This man is a whole dollar. Like, this poor man.
Okay, if I was as rich as him, I'm already fatter than he is, and I have about 0.01% of his money. So I don't blame him for just living life like a rich guy should. Yeah,
right.
It's incredible.
Hey, you know what? He's an actor. Maybe he's preparing for a role.
Maybe that's what it is.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
Curtis.
No, I did like the Super Bowl. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, I watched that. I've been watching NBA. Bulls have been killing it. DeMar DeRozan, best player in the world, apparently. But outside of that, yeah, not much. Just been moving, packing, and getting the house organized.
You should have been here last week to defend your boys, the Bulls. They got a little poop on them.
In Nashville?
No, from us. From the podcast.
Oh.
Shade. Shade was
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Calm down. All right, because I'm back now.
All right, so as I already talked about, I wake up pretty early with my daughter, and I've been watching Olympics. I've seen a lot of curling. It was amazing. After bashing it last week, it was all on this morning. The mornings are all curling.
Jake's a believer now. He's a believer.
So Allie, my wife, caught me watching curling in the afternoon, and I was like getting into it.
Yes.
So
I definitely thought that was going to go somewhere else when you said my wife caught me watching.
No. But I did watch a Super Bowl. I watched this is the second game this year. I watched every play. And it was actually, I mean, for how low scoring it was, in fairness, it was actually pretty exciting. I mean, coming down to the last 2 minutes, having a touchdown winning drive, it was pretty exciting. So watch that. But in all reality, I'm just, again, as we have talked about, I'm just waiting for baseball. So I'm just gonna have to fill my time with curling, apparently.
Hey,
so
it's the gateway. Yeah. Curling's the gateway to baseball. Those two things are almost identical.
Hey, I also watched figure skating today. Okay, so give me.
Did you watch that Russian girl? Apparently, she's like banned, but she's also crushing it. I also don't get how steroids make you a better figure skater.
No, she tested positive for like a heart medication that also
so maybe like blood flow or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's supposed to help supposed to help like restrict blood flow, so it helps you like not fatigue, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So all the blood just go to her feet. So when she's spinning around, it just makes
it's the concept of doping. It's like what Lance Armstrong was doing back then when he was having his blood taken out and like put back in him like cleaner.
I thought he was doing something like erythropoietin, so like his body would make more red blood cells. I thought he
was drinking giraffe blood.
So
giraffe blood.
So we have no idea.
Over the spectrum.
We are all
literally not a single idea.
We have no idea. So let's move on to. Yeah. So let's move on to the.
He's definitely accused of doping.
Yes. Yeah. No, he admitted. Well, let's move on to the three piece of news I saw that I think warrant some conversation. So as we go along, let's just talk about these three. So this week, the first story is the Major League Baseball lawyers in court argued that minor leaguers should continue to not be paid during spring training. So it says in the article, a lawyer for Major League Baseball said in federal court on Friday that minor league baseball players should not be paid during spring training. And also said, there's a quote, and says, it is the players that obtain the greater benefit from the training opportunities that are afforded by the clubs. So, Dallas, I want your quick reaction.
Yeah, I read that, and it said something about them not being employees. Like it's just full of hogwash.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But yeah, it's let's see. Wow.
But let me ask you the question: Are minor league baseball players employees or are they trainees?
They're 100% employees. People are coming to see them play. Like that's like going to medieval times and being like, "Are these guys trainees?" It's like, bro, no. Like they're
real knights.
They're horseback riding, right? Like this is the real deal.
They sat at the round table.
You're going. I mean, you got to figure they're making under $1,000 a year, and they're not getting paid when they're not playing. And like the least you could do is comp their housing, which they haven't been doing. So like they're just finding every way to stick it to these people. Yeah, Benny sent me some. It's low like single A players make.
Yeah, so low A balls. Yeah, low A balls. They get $12,000 a year.
It's not a huge disparity between AAA and single A. So I mean they're still making dirt. So you've got $16,800 a year for AAA players. Like it's insane. Yeah. So it costs them $2.5 million to pay out the full minor league system.
The entire minor leagues can be paid for $3 million. How many guys in the major leagues right now are on both of our teams, Cubs and Sox, that are not good enough to be getting paid $3 million when you could pay like 90 people that same amount of money and still keep your minor leagues intact?
I mean, it's way more than 90, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I was just ballparking it, but you know what I mean? Like it's just insane to me.
No, it's absurd. The fact that they're paying them, what was that? Like about $100 a week. I think that's what we were talking about a couple weeks ago.
Low A, so it ranges. Low A makes about 400 to minimum, and AAA is like 700 a week.
A week, okay. It's just crazy.
It's more disgusting the fact that these guys get paid so little that for their profession and their job that consumes so much more of their time that they still don't even have a chance to possibly have a regular job on top of it.
Right. Like how are you expected to be like working at State Farm and then being like, hey, actually I gotta go to practice. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Like
I got the first pitches at 3:00. I got to jet, guys.
Right. So it's just
there was actually a story that came out this week from The Athletic. It detailed 20 players, what they do during the off season, and some of the players were detailing their jobs. They have to try to make sure their jobs are physical so they can get workouts at their job.
Yeah.
So it just tells a story. And again, that's just the first story. What we'll do is we'll put a link in our bio, in our show notes, so you guys can read up on that story, and you can get pretty fired up like all of us do about minor leaguers not getting paid anything. So that's the first story. The second story is the unfortunate passing of Major League outfielder and veteran, now not playing, Major League Baseball player Jeremy Giambi this past week died. And his death was after a couple days. His death was ruled a suicide, and it's very unfortunate. He was only 47 years old. He played on, I believe it was 6 different Major League Baseball teams, and spent a majority of that time with the Oakland A's. So what I would like to do is, Dan, once you start us off, what is a memory you have of Jeremy Giambi as a player?
Hell, as a player?
All due respect to Jeremy Giambi.
Right. I don't know that I have a memory of him as a player. I mean, he was a part of that A's team that went on that ridiculous 20-game win streak.
The Moneyball, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the movie Moneyball was made about the team years later. He was eventually traded that year. It's unfortunate, his passing. Obviously, any loss of life is tragic, especially when someone feels their only option is to remove themselves. It makes it even worse. But I don't know. That's
well,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Ben, you're wearing an Oakland A's hat. Why don't you say something?
In honor of my boy. So it's messed up, not messed up, but it's kind of funny. The thing I remember about Jeremy Giambi the most, and all of us remember this play, but you probably don't remember the thing. So it's in Coliseum, down the right field line. Jeter comes up, grabs that throw, throws it to home. Jeremy Giambi clearly safe, and in the rules and in modern baseball, instant replay, he's safe by 1,000 feet, but he gets called out at home. And
was it Giambi who scored?
Yeah, no, he got tagged out. He was out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I thought he was safe.
Then it was John Jaha who hit the ball. I thought it was Jaha who was coming home.
No, it was Jeremy Giambi coming home.
So okay, so
that's like the only thing I remember him as a player outside of
literally the only thing I remember him as a player. Like the most memorable play or anything about him being a player is the same thing. That I thought he was the batter who hit the ball, and it was Jaha who got tagged out at home.
No.
It was Giambi. Jeremy Giambi is clearly safe at home plate. I'm sorry. You can argue whatever you want. There's absolutely no way he was tagged by Posada.
And I'm a big Jeter guy, so I obviously just defend Jeter forever. But I can admit that he was safe on that.
Hell of a play.
Let's move from a controversial play in the Derek Jeter toss the shovel pass to from a controversial play call to a controversial player. Now, this news story came out last Tuesday. The news story is no criminal charges will be filed against starting pitcher Trevor Bauer. Now, this story it has a lot of details that need a lot more explanation, but what I want to do is just read a little bit about from this LA Times news story. It says pretty much that after 5 months of a review from police, the allegations of sexual assault, he will not face criminal charges, and in that, he last pitched for the Dodgers on June 28th. Now, Ben, as I texted you this story earlier the week, you had a very strong reaction. But what I want you to do is, talk about that, but also tell me when or will we see Trevor Bauer pitch for the Dodgers again?
So, yeah, my first reaction, I think we talked about it on this podcast. It could have been just in conversation, but I base people on if I want to hang out with them. Like, do I like Trevor Bauer? No, because he doesn't seem like a person I would want to grab a drink with and hang out with, right? So maybe I'm coming from a biased position, but I just don't like him. So I don't think that. Okay, so the big thing is like when MLB is going to let him pitch again, right? Because MLB's investigation is still ongoing. Can MLB even be investigating right now with the lockout going on?
There's no investigation and nothing will be announced, but it's ongoing.
So let's just say spring training gets pushed back, season gets pushed back. He's been working out, right? So I would assume he's had like 8 months to work out by himself and keep himself in shape. So I would imagine he would probably pitch again this year, and I do think it'll be for the Dodgers. I think the big bugaboo, the big hang-up was going to be the criminal charges, because you can't have a guy on your roster, on your team that faces criminal charges. But the fact that he was exonerated from the criminal charges would make you assume that the Dodgers aren't dumb. They're going to bring him back because he is a viable pitcher and he's pretty decent for all things considered.
Yeah.
And so, the Dodgers are gonna take him back, especially if they're losing Kershaw and they're trying to retool and get back to this. I was gonna say Super Bowl, get back to the World Series. Yeah, exactly. So they're gonna have to bring him back just for talent wise, just because they need bodies, they need pitchers. But I personally wouldn't bring him back on my team. No. And if I was a Dodgers fan, I wouldn't want him to come back either. But again, that's just me not liking Trevor Bauer, the man, but realizing that you need Trevor Bauer, the pitcher.
Yeah. So the interesting part is that Trevor Bauer has been controversial for a lot of different reasons. I would say the first thing he was controversial for was in 2017. he's very infamous on Twitter. He got into a Twitter fight with a bunch of fans about politics, and then he also has been very vocal about cheating when it comes to pitching using substances and whatnot. But then he also admitted that he's used it in the past. So yeah, people have a lot of opinions on him.
The other thing you can't forget. Sorry. Back in 2016, though, when Cubs and Indians were playing in the Indians at the time, but they were playing in the World Series. Remember, he cut his hand messing with the drone. Remember, and that cost them probably a game because he would have been pitching later in that series, and instead the Indians had to shuffle around their lineup, shuffle around their pitching staff because this dork is out here flying a drone. Like, flying drones are fine, but maybe don't cost your team in the World Series by flying a drone. Just wait like another 2 weeks until the series is over. Then you can fly all the drones you want, bro. You know, drone it up.
Yeah, that's a fair take. I'll say that. So, and again, we'll put the new story. It's a great read. As I was reading it, I think anyone who's interested in this topic of Trevor Bauer and legal ramifications of pitching and all this kind of stuff, I'll put it in the show notes and in the bio if you're watching on YouTube. So let's move on to our first base topic, which is the continued lockout. Now, usually we've made it a news story because there's not much news, but in the past week, there's been two things that have happened when it comes to the lockout. One thing is last Thursday, Commissioner Rob Manfred gave a press conference, and then on Saturday morning, there was a meeting between the MLB and MLBPA. Now, I want to first ask this question to kind of gauge what you guys have on this. Did anybody watch a press conference either live or replay from Thursday?
I was at work. I had every intention of watching it. I wish I could have. But no, I didn't. I didn't get to. I just kind of caught the cliff notes of everything that happened on Twitter. From like the DH being finalized, like that's happening, DH in the NL, and that sort of stuff. So I kind of caught like the Cliff Notes version, but yeah, I didn't actually get to watch it.
Yeah, same. I tried to recap what I could get as best I could, but I was not able to watch live. Would have been nice to actually hear, just because you do miss a lot when it comes to trying to recap stuff later. But no, I didn't get a chance to.
So I actually was in the middle of homeschool and homeschooling my daughter, and I tuned in and I saw the end, and then I rewatched it again right after, and then I watched it a couple times just so I can make sure I'm not like biased on my first watch. So some of the quotes that came out was we're pretty what I'll do is I'll put them on our Instagram page, and again, if you want to visit there anytime, what I'll do is I'll put up some of the tweets, just quotes of his, and what I'll say is there was a lot of pushback on a lot of topics that he said, and the one thing he made a point to say over and over again, which was intended for the meeting on Saturday, was that he kept saying all it takes is one move and we can make a deal. And I was watching on my phone and I just said, they make a move. Can we just make a move? So anyway, so that was the press conference, and then on Saturday, obviously, depending on who you watch and who you read, the proposal came out in two different ways. One take, the one that's in favor of the league was talking about how they made quote unquote movement towards players, and then on the player friendly side, the players that were there were quote unimpressed. Now, I think Ben talked about this earlier, talking about when baseball is going to start. When is baseball going to start? Is baseball going to start? Because what's your first thought?
I think they're at a shortened spring training. If
At the very least, yeah.
Yeah. See, pitchers, catchers scheduled to start February 17th. I think it's safe to say that's not happening.
That's
they could get there in 2 days.
Yeah.
If they leave right now.
Well, their games are scheduled to start the 26th. So I don't see that happening unless they plan on meeting every other day or every day from this point.
For 12 hours on end to get this thing hammered out. Yeah.
Right. I don't understand the holdup. I don't understand the dragging of the feet. I think they're just waiting for the other person to balk, per se.
Hey, it's a baseball reference.
Hey.
You guys like that?
Hey.
That's why we pay him the big bucks. Big
That's
bucks.
right.
And the big butts. The big butts and the big bucks.
Big bucks.
Baseball starts late May or late April, early May at best.
Dan saying late May. That's.
So
I said late April, early May.
Yeah.
You think
No, you said late May, early April, and I'm like, you're flipping the world around, going in reverse.
It's not accurate.
No, I think Dan's right though. I think early May. If at the most optimistic I am right now, I would say middle of April, but probably closer to the beginning of May would be my guess. Because they would need to have some sort of spring training, right? You can't just all right, games are starting next week, regular season, let's go. You know what I mean? So you have to have a couple weeks of spring training. So they're going to do that. Let's hope the end of March, beginning of April, you get that knocked out. Bam, season starts middle of April, end of April.
Yeah, the sheer logistics of it have been talked about. So Rob Manfred in his press conference, and then the union has also backed this up when it comes to how long of a spring training they will need. So in the shortened COVID season of 2020, they only had a 2-week spring training. Now, injuries were up sky high in that year. Now, because of the shortened spring training. So they said they need at least 28 days to train. But they need 28 days for pitchers and aim position players to all have the proper warm up. So they need that. There also needs to be 2 or 3 days in between their agreeing and ratifying of a deal. And then they need 2 or 3 days to actually, as Ben talked about earlier, to ship all their players or travel to their places. So you're looking at a month, 5 weeks. So if they get the deal done, like they said, they need to have the deal done and ratified by March 3rd to start on time. That's not going to happen.
No.
Even if they do on March 3rd, they're not starting on time.
You're thinking something else would come up, or do you just think that, like as Jake said, they're shooting for a month of space. So if they can get the deal done by March 3rd, we can get the season started by April 1st. At that point, you subtract 2 days off. I mean, that's April 1st. That would be the start of the season, anyways, right?
Yes, and that's barring anything unforeseeable to occur.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Yeah,
I'm saying there's no chance. Even if they signed tomorrow, the season doesn't start April 1st. I'm sorry. Take that.
I hope you're wrong.
Yeah. There's a lot to be figured out, and you know what? I did hear this on a different podcast. Is that I want to be very clear about this. If you've listened this far, you're probably a baseball fan. Probably. But I will say this, if you're not a baseball fan, the only reason you probably know there's a lockout is because you're listening to us. I've talked to people who are not baseball fans, and none of them, zero people, know there's a lockout. So the one thing I will say, is that have room. The league and the union have room so that if they get a deal done, no one will ever know.
Except for
I know
anybody
that
turns on SportsCenter.
That sounds insane, but like besides reporters and hardcore fans or people who do this and talk about it, the casual fan has no real idea.
No, but you gotta also remember that right now is like a dead time of baseball.
I mean, like, winter meetings
spring training right now. Spring training is not even technically starting yet. Like, it's the dead time of baseball, where the other sports have predominantly taken the stage because there is such a lull in the sport in itself that, like, most people aren't prepared. Their mind isn't prepared to start listening and watching for baseball. So I'm not surprised that most people don't even realize that there is a lockout in effect, because most don't even care to start watching baseball until April.
Can't comprehend.
Their minds
is not ready.
No, but okay, so we're making fun of Dan, but also at the same time, I get exactly what he means. Me personally, and I know Dan and I have talked about this before, I go through seasonal sports. So, like, right now, my mindset, like, I love baseball, and I could talk to you guys about baseball until I'm blue in the face, but it's winter, so it's football and basketball season. Right now, football's ended, and so what happens when football ends? Spring training. Spring training is supposed to start. So now I'm going to start getting back into baseball mode. But, Jake, I had a question for you. Do you think that the overall lack of popularity on baseball has any effect on this at all? Like the fact that baseball seems to be a quote-unquote dying sport. Do you think it's causing any delay in the negotiations or the conversation at all?
From the union?
Yeah, well, not even from the players, but from like the owners and stuff. Because you would think the fact that you're risking losing money, right, by people not being there, not playing games, not making concessions, not making money off parking, all of that stuff, that eventually you would want to get to the table and knock out these conversations. So I like to Dallas's point, I don't understand the foot dragging on the part of the owners. Like, why not just get in there right away and try hammering this out?
Well, you do have to understand a little bit that, you know, to these owners, this is their business. This is one of their businesses.
That's a good point.
This not their team. This is not their passion. Most owners. So this is a business, and if it makes more sense for them to lose a short-term gain of like 2 months or 3 months of games, but they will earn more money in 5 or 10 years, they're going to do that. So they don't have the urgency. So I think when it's a business, and fans don't like that. That's terrible for the game. Is that when you talk about any sport, it's a business. But I think that's just where it's at. Is that there's no urgency yet, but there will come a time when there is on both sides. But
for sure,
you know what? I think this conversation could really go on for I don't know another 2-3 hours. So let's move on to the second part, which actually is Ben's idea. So Ben, why don't you take it away?
All right. So this is what we're gonna do. Jake and I were kind of kicking around ideas earlier in this week. I was texting him, and I was like, we should do something fun, like a trivia game or mix it up, because, you know, I love asking you guys questions, trivia questions, different stuff like that. So I think we should put it up to the people, all of our amazing listeners and viewers. What should be a fun reward for the person who wins the trivia game? Now, this is how it's going to work. So I'm just going to ask you guys like 5 questions or something easy. Whoever gets the most points at the end of the game, that's who leads going in the next week. And we'll play like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks of it, whatever.
Wait.
Whoever has the most points at the end of that gets a reward.
So we're going to have rolling points?
Yeah, we're just going to keep track of whoever has the most points at the end of 4 weeks.
Can I use the internet?
You can.
No.
All right, so we're just going to go question 1. This is just going to be just a sample, just so you guys get how it is. It's a multiple choice. I just want to see a hand raise. Whoever goes up first, that's who gets the first shot at it. All right. Question 1. Against what opposing team did Babe Ruth hit his first career home run? You have the Baltimore Black Sox. Dal, you got to let me read the answers.
No, he's done. You got to answer it.
Okay, Dal. I'm guessing you don't pick the Baltimore Black Sox. So you have the Baltimore Black Sox, the Boston Red Sox, the Chicago Cubs, or the New York Yankees? Dallas.
New York Yankees.
Ding, ding, ding. Dallas. All right, then you would have got that point.
He was a Red Sox first, wasn't he?
You would have got that point, but that doesn't count.
It said while playing and then it gives a nice little description. It says while playing for the Red Sox, Babe Ruth hit his first career home run against the Yankees May 6, 1915.
Come on,
he was traded to the Yankees for $125,000
and a washing machine.
Yeah,
and a 12-pack of hot dogs.
But in fairness, it was probably the first washing machine ever made because it was 1915 or whatever. So good for him. All right, so this one actually counts. Are you ready?
Can I get half?
No. Shut up.
You get a thumbs up. Who was the first Major League player to ever record a pitch over 100 miles an hour? Roger Clemens, Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver, Dwight Gooden. Jake, go.
Ooh, Nolan.
Jake's going Nolan Ryan. Boom. September 7th, 1974 against the Chicago White Sox. He was the first player to ever throw over 100 miles an hour on an officially clocked pitch.
Bang.
So I'm going to keep track here in our group chat. One.
Only to find out 10 years later, he kicks the crap out of Robin Ventura.
He did kick the crap out of Robin Ventura. Okay.
Yes, he did.
Question number 2. What Baltimore Orioles manager was ejected from a record 91 games?
Oh my gosh.
My dude did not want to coach. So you have Mark Hargrave.
Got a T10.
Earl Weaver. Hank Bauer. Paul Richards. Dallas.
Hank Bauer.
Dallas says Hank Bauer.
Ooh.
Incorrect.
Bang.
Dan, go.
Earl Weaver.
Dang.
Dan with the point. Dan and Jake.
Right. Wow. That was surprising. I don't know.
We don't have minus points, though, right?
You do.
You do. Only you. All right. So question number 3. Who was the first Major League player to have his number retired? Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, George Kelly, Charlie Robertson. The great Charlie Robertson.
Can you say that again?
Yeah. Who was the first Major League player to have his number retired? Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, George Kelly, Charlie Robertson.
Dan's up.
Dan, go for it.
That's Lou Gehrig. Gehrig.
Boom. I was waiting for the ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
All right. He was retired on July 4th when he made his famous
Yeah.
I consider myself the luckiest man in the face of the earth. All right. Question 4. Making good progress, guys. We're flying through this. Question 4. What player is nicknamed Mr. November? David Ortiz, Derek Jeter, Jake.
Jeter.
Go for it. It is Derek Jeter. Ding, ding, ding. Correct.
I don't need choices. Come on.
Jake's like, keep your choices.
Get out of here.
Oh, let me jack that up. All right. Question number 5. So this is pretty easy. Dal, this one's only for you because I know Jake and Dan are going to get it. What pitcher had no right hand? One-handed pitcher. Jim Abbott, Guy Hecker, Jim Colborn, or Stubby Clapp?
He got it. He got it.
Did you say Jim Abbott?
He did say Jim Abbott.
I'm not going to lie. I wish it was Stubby Clapp. How awesome is that guy's name?
That sounds awesome.
Stubby Clapp. He could
Stubby
not
Clapp. That was my nickname in high school. Everyone called me the Stubby Head.
I'm going to do something offensive.
For other reasons.
Yeah. Jake's going one-handed hand right there. Bing, bang.
For other reasons.
All right. So Dallas with a point. Dallas on the board.
Hey.
The Brooklyn Dodgers nickname originally referred to dodging the police. Go for it, Dan.
Traffic.
Let me finish. Dal,
go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
Is it not
the police, trolleys, bullets, or horse poop?
Trolleys across the street.
Nice.
Jake, go for it. What do you got?
Trolleys.
It's the trolley. It's the train.
Wait, can we all agree on the same points?
They did it to get to the stadium.
But how cool would it be if they were named the Dodgers because they were just ducking horse crap in the street all over the place?
Where are they like 2 feet tall?
Yeah, dude, it was 1892, brother. They didn't have like buildings and stuff. They were just stuff. Like the world was just anarchy. So in less than 3 years, the electric trolley in Brooklyn resulted in 130 deaths and 500 people maimed and injured. So they weren't that good at dodging the trolley. I'll just say.
Well, I mean, probably like 100 of them were because they touched the live wire.
That would suck. Just get out of the way or cross at a crosswalk like a normal person.
They didn't have crosswalks.
Yeah, man. The world was anarchy.
All right, so this is a tough one. What player was killed by a pitch from New York Yankees pitcher Carl Mays? Hit in the head, died 2 days later. Herb Score, Ray Chapman, Tony Canigliaro, butchered that, or Bryce Flory. Dallas.
B.
Ray Chapman?
Yep.
My man. Cleveland Indians shortstop in 1920 got drilled in the head. Oh, he died 12 hours later. And he is the reason that the spitball was banned by Major League Baseball.
Did not know that.
It's also
That's gross. Why are you spitting? Why are you spitting on the ball? Remember when I got punched in the eye by David Sneddon? Because he spit on the football and I slapped him in the face and he punched me in the eye.
Did you get punched in the eye too?
I did. We both had black eyes at the same time from him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's just hauling off, punching everyone in the eye.
Yeah, dude, mine just started. Got me again.
You didn't do anything about it. You got
calm up. What's he doing? What's he doing? Let's go run it. Let's go run it.
He's a weightlifting coach somewhere.
We'll get him out of here.
So he'll punch really hard and die.
Yeah. Right there. What is the name of the fictitious minor league baseball team on The Simpsons? Springfield Fishbones, Springfield Isotopes, Springfield Homers, or the Springfield Duffs? Dallas.
B. Isotopes. Nice.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, so that's it. Dallas, you have 3 now?
Wow, there you go.
Dallas has 3, Jake has 3, Dan has 2.
Suck it, Dan.
Question 10. This is going to be the last one of the day. So we'll see. One of Dallas or Jake can take the lead. Maybe Dan can tie it up.
Ooh.
Because we did one fake question, Jake, and then 9 regular ones.
Right.
What female pitcher once struck out Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig? Jackie Mitchell, Constance Morgan, Kelsey Whitmore, or Mamie Johnson? Jake. Go ahead, Jake.
I'll say D.
Mamie Johnson?
Yeah.
Someone else want to go? Down. She's just gonna keep going until he gets it.
B.
Oh, go.
Whatever the letter Constance is.
Dan.
Is it Constance Morgan?
No, this one Dallas just
asked.
All right, Jake, go ahead. No, you weren't paying attention. Jake.
Candace.
Jake's going. There is no Candace. Jake's guessing people who aren't even on the list. Jackie Mitchell.
I win.
Jackie Mitchell or Kelsey Whitmore. One of those two.
Jackie
Mitchell.
Jackie Mitchell. She was a 17-year-old pitcher.
Any of us get that.
No, dude. No. Dan gets -4 for guessing my guess.
So she was a 17-year-old playing for the Double-A Chattanooga Lookouts.
Cool.
Interesting. Double-A pitcher, female, just K-ing up Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. That's dirty. That's pretty good. Good for her.
Dude, how
all
drunk
right, guys.
was Babe Ruth? All right, that's my question.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably test his blood now, and you would still find booze. So there you go. Everybody's tied up at 3 after week 1. Nice. This is amazing. Who would have thought?
Not me.
Wait, how are you going to give Dan the point for guessing wrong?
Oh, yeah, I didn't give Dan the point. Yeah, Dan does not have the point.
Get you out of here.
Just Dan. You and Jake are tied. Dallas and Jake are tied at 3. Dan has 2.
Bang.
Even though Jake guessed somebody who's not even on the board, it doesn't matter.
That was bad.
I think that's even worse.
Jake's like, whoever Candace is. Candace wasn't there. Well, whatever. Her 2.
I mean, I think that deserves a creativity point. All right. So we'll move on to our third base, which is going to be a breakdown of the AL East. Dan, why don't you take it away?
They're going to be good.
Sick.
AL East is probably going to be AL East is probably going to be the most competitive division going in baseball next year. Last year alone, they had 4 teams with 91 wins or more. And they came down to the last couple of weeks where they were just literally beating the crap out of each other to make playoff runs. You're going to have teams are going to need to fill positions in that. And I think you're going to see Toronto make a big push to contend with New York. Tampa's going to be good. Obviously, Baltimore is going to be your outlier. I think they won 51, 52 games last year.
Yeah, 51.
Yeah,
that was really not good.
I mean, not when your fourth place team is 40 games over you at 91 wins. So I think the AL East is going to be the most competitive division going into next year. I don't think Boston's going to do as good as they did last year. I think it's going to come down to Tampa, Toronto, and the Yankees, and I think the Yankees will take the division next year. Especially if they make some off-season moves to bring in either Freddie Freeman or re-sign Rizzo. Although I hear there's more reports saying Rizzo could go back to the Cubs, which just gives the Yankees more ammunition to bring in Freeman.
They can also go, which I think if they go the Matt Olson route.
Dude, he would hit 1,000 home runs there.
Well, he's a short porch,
and incredibly well. That's what I'm saying. That's the perfect opportunity. That's a perfect place for him to go. There or Boston, which I don't know if Boston needs a first baseman, but
no, they have Bobby Dahlbeck.
Yeah. So Dan, who you think the Yankees are taking it?
Yeah.
What do you think the win total is going to be? Because 91 seems like a lot, right?
No, 91 was the fourth place. The winner had 100 wins last year who took the AL East. So I think it's going to be 98 to 100 wins again to take the AL East. And I think it's going to be the Yankees. I do.
Okay.
Well, just out of
not Baltimore.
Pure.
Well, we were talking too about free agents 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or however long ago it was. And I know we were saying Trevor Story. I think I put going to New York. But you know what? I forgot. They still have Gleyber Torres. They have Giovanni Urshela, and they have the kid from LeMahieu at second.
Kid. He's like 33 years old.
I know.
As old as I am.
My point is
I don't actually know that Trevor Story goes to the Yankees. I don't think they have a high need for another middle infielder when they're, you have those three playing those three positions, and you're going to be bringing in hopefully one of 2 or 3 top tier first basemen.
So let me ask you this. Who would you rather have? And you're the Yankees, so money isn't an issue. Remember that. Who would you rather have? Gio Urshela, the corpse of Gleyber Torres, who is, I don't know what happened to him. He can't field anything, apparently.
Yeah.
Or DJ LeMahieu, or would you rather have Trevor Story? Because I'm taking Trevor Story over all 3 of them and not even thinking about it. I'll figure it out. I'll stick DJ over at third. Urshela come off the bench, give me Gleyber at second, Trevor Story at short. And then you can stick a bag of baseballs at first base with a glove on it, and you'd be fine. I mean, I think realistically, for the Yankees to succeed, Gary Sanchez has to be Gary Sanchez of like 3 years ago, which I don't think he has that in him.
Yeah.
Their rotation is going to have to be better outside of Cole, right? Do you think Jordan Montgomery's going to have another good year? Do you, who do you think is left on the Yankees staff that's going to be able to carry them win-wise? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's
I just
my
don't
biggest.
see it. I mean, they have Stanton and Judge who play a total of 60 games a year between the two of them. Like, I just don't think the Yankees are going to continue to be able to keep being the Yankees unless they start doing what Yankees do, and that's just spending money over everybody.
And they're
else.
going to. They're going
and
to.
just buy the talent. Well, yeah. And I mean, if that's what you're going to do, then that's what you're going to do, and that's.
I know Corey Kluber is not old Corey Kluber on the Yankees or on the Indians. You still have Jonathan Loaizaga. You still have Severino. You still have Jordan Montgomery. You still have arms, and their free agency hasn't technically really even happened yet. There are still guys that they can bring in to bolster that lineup. You have a very good bullpen. You still have one of the best closers in baseball in Chapman. And I agree with you. Bringing in Trevor Story, making position moves is the right thing to do. Now, do you have the personnel that are going to be cool with it? Because you have guys that are under contract, and you can't just be like, "Oh, okay, cool, we're just going to trade you." Like Gio, you don't want to move and DH and platoon at third with Glaber or LeMahieu. Fine, we'll trade you. Like these guys, it doesn't work that way anymore.
No, I mean, I get it. I just think it's so hard to pick a team against the Rays. Like, in the Rays – go ahead, Jake. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, of all the teams, when it comes to depth and when it comes to overall, they have a very good starting rotation. They have a young core. I think the Rays so ultimately, I think the Rays will take it. But I don't think they're getting 100 wins again. So I think they're getting like mid-90s. But
dude,
the one thing I would say,
yeah, exactly right.
The one thing I would say is real quick is that Toronto. I know last year they had the Cy Young winner in Robbie Ray, and he left for Seattle. But they picked up Kevin Gausman, and their young core is fantastic. They picked up if you look at their rotation, honestly their top four: Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios, Ryu. They have Alex Manoah, and their fifth is Ross Stripling. So Alex Manoah is their fourth starter, and he was 9-2 last year.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
So
he's one of the best sliders in baseball too.
Yeah. So what the one point I will make is they have a stacked young team all across the infield and outfield. They have a great starting pitching. They have also a great bullpen. So if anyone is going to come close, I think the Yankees have too many holes. They have. I don't know if they're a big free agent market anymore. I don't think that's why I said Trevor Story's going there, is because he'll sign a short deal, and he'll sign somewhere else. But I don't see the Yankees or the Red Sox doing that again. I think the Blue Jays can only go up. That's my take.
Yeah, and it's almost always impossible to count out the Rays because they come out with like dudes you never heard of who just start crushing, and then they're gone. Like a season later, they're off on some other team. You know what I mean? The Rays are very Marlins of essentially since their existence, where they'll get really good. The Marlins have won a World Series, really won two. So the Marlins get really good, they win a World Series, and then they're just like, take them all, take everybody, and then we'll be terrible for 15 years, and that's fine because then we'll win another World Series. And I think the Rays are doing the same things. The Rays built up a World Series team back when they played the Phillies a couple years ago, lost, dumped everybody, came back 2 years ago, made the World Series in the COVID shortened year against the Dodgers, lost. But I think the Rays are just too hard to count out and to keep down. I think the Rays are always going to find those guys, those key dudes who always just like fill the exact hole that they need. You know what I mean? Like the Rays don't have the money to make like a big swing and miss at a free agent like a Trevor Story, right? The Rays will never be able to afford a Trevor Story. So you have to fill the positions with guys that do exactly what you need them to do. I think the Rays are really good at that, and I think the Rays and the Jays, Rays and Jays. I think the Blue Jays are going to finish first. I think the Rays are going to finish second and make a wild card. I think the Yankees finish third, make a wild card, and then the Red Sox, and then the Orioles about 50 feet down.
Yeah.
In Double-A, they'll finish third.
Don't get me wrong. I think the Yankees will still win the division because they are still the Yankees, and they're still going to make whatever offseason moves they need to compete, and they'll do what they need to do at the trade deadline. I hope Toronto. I love that team in Toronto with the core three being Biggio, Bichette, Guerrero. They still got Springer.
They're great.
No, you just blew my mind. When you said Biggio, I thought you were going to go Berkman and Bagwell. And I was like, whoa. What year did I just get teleported back into?
Yeah.
Like you said Biggio, and my mind immediately went like, wait.
Your dad?
What? Are we doing something old school here? I missed that.
Yeah.
No. Biggio, Bichette, Guerrero, Springer. You got I like the catcher and Danny Jansen. I think he's really good, really underrated. He hasn't been able to stay healthy a lot, but I think if he can put a whole season on the field,
I think he's from Illinois too.
Yeah, he is. He's going to do really well. I do like their starters. I love the pickup of Jose Barrios. He's killed the Sox for every year since he's been with Minnesota. Good to see him leave.
The Twins always get one of those guys that just whips it out against the White Sox.
Yeah,
10 times a year.
So Dan, you have the Yankees winning and the Rays are in second. They're gonna win a wild card. Who's gonna come in third then?
It'll be Toronto and then Boston.
Okay. So the one thing I would say, and we even left out on all like the top 9 or whatever. I always forget the all MLB team. I don't even know what they're called. So Gurriel in left field. We left him out. We just forgot an amazing player in left field.
Teoscar, I think his name's Teoscar. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it
Teoscar
Hernandez? Yeah, he's great too.
Yeah.
I'm
not leaving him out. I just didn't go through their whole lineup.
Yeah, so that's my point, is that they have so many people you forget. And they have they spent their money on pitching. And so if you spend your money on pitching and you have young talent all around the field, I think they take it not by much, but they take it by like 2 or 3 games, and the Rays go far into playoffs. But I think it's the year the Jays finally do it. That's all.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I mean, I doubt. What about you? I know you're a big Orioles fan.
Oh yeah,
It's fun to see the Blue Jays do well.
They have the worst stadium in Major League Baseball, though.
But they do have an amazing logo.
They have a great logo, dude. The bird with the maple leaf behind the head.
All agreed.
Yeah, the Blue Jays logo is dope. I'm gonna say their stadium is trash, almost as bad as this one.
Yeah,
as bad as this one.
Is terrible.
It's like, hey, let's just build a cement thing out there, and then just put grass in it. Yeah, let's let them run around for a little bit. But I think the Blue Jays are probably going to be my pick this year. I think, Jake, you've converted me. I was going to say Rays at the beginning, but I'm all in on the Jays. That might actually be the next hat I buy. Is a dope Jays hat.
Yeah,
just a big.
Yeah, that'd be a good hat.
I want it to be 90% maple leaf. just the whole thing.
So Dallas, you have the Blue Jays as well?
Yeah, sure.
Just for fun. All right, so we have 3 Blue Jays, and Dan is gonna go with the Yankees making some moves. I think that's a good bet overall. I think it's interesting no one picked the Rays. but still,
I was going to. I mean, I think they're going to come down. You said it about a 3-game difference. I'm thinking about a game and a half difference. So I think the Rays are a little bit closer than you, but I think it's going to come down to the probably like the last week of the year. I think that's always so much fun though when you get to that last week of the year and you have to debate like, am I going to do September call-ups or am I really going to try to hunker down, get this first spot in the playoffs? You know what I mean? Get some home field advantage.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a fun year, especially for fans of all those teams, except the Orioles. They have another bad year. So that kind of wraps up the AL East talk. So what we'll do is we'll go to our home plate. We'll hit home plate, and this is where we take our weekly Chicago sports team take of the week. And Dan, why don't you start us off? What is your take of the week for a Chicago sports team?
Hawks look better. They've been playing better after the All-Star break. They took 4 out of 6 points on the road coming home. They got a nice little homestand here the next couple of games. So be good to see them start putting some wins together, start getting some momentum.
Dallas, what's your take of the week?
I'm really hoping to start watching more basketball. I need to, since the Bulls are doing well. It's I feel like it'd be nice to give it a fair shot again. I love watching basketball. For me, is like something I love watching in person. I love it's fantastic. But like a lot of people, I would say, make the argument that baseball is boring to watch on TV, but they would love to go to a game. That's what basketball is for me. Like I can watch baseball on TV and in person, and I love it. But basketball for me is much more enjoyable in person, and I think I'll just start giving it more of a shot via television.
Dude, you're probably pretty close to some Pacers games, right? How long is it? Or how far is it to Indianapolis from where you
Actually, you guys are closer to Indy than I am.
But I'm not going to go to a Pacers game over a Bulls game. I just mean
right
for you.
No, I think Indianapolis might be 5 hours from me.
Indianapolis. Yeah, you heard that too. Indianapolis. All right, so obviously I'm watching the Bulls. Duh. DeMar DeRozan, he should be getting more MVP love. Genuinely, did you know he's on a 6-game stretch right now, where he's averaging at least 35 points and shooting like 60% from the field or whatever it is? And nobody's done that.
Who was the last
in the history of the Bulls outside of Jordan?
Not
even Jordan.
So, no, he did.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, think about rarefied air that DeMar DeRozan's playing in right now. He's playing out of his mind. So the Bulls are actually exciting, and it's so much fun. And this is without Zach LaVine, who's hurt. Lonzo Ball's hurt. So once the Bulls get those guys back, I think they're going to get Dragic too. Dragic is he's going to get bought out by the Spurs. And if we can get an experienced point guard, playoffs, or I was going to say Super Bowl and a World Series, he's got an NBA championship under his belt, playoff experience. I think he's the perfect guy to bring in for a late season addition to help put the Bulls over the top.
And actually, my take of the week is going to be an odd one. And because there's no pro baseball happening, this morning, no, not more curling. My take of the week is going to be this morning, I looked up Chicago college baseball.
Okay.
The USC Flames, their opening game of the year is this Friday. My birthday is this Friday at New Mexico State. Now their first home game is going to be March 4th. And again, because there's probably not going to be any Cubs or White Sox, I might go to that area and check out that game.
Dude,
that's my take.
I'm moving to town back on the 11th. So as soon as I'm back up, any games that there's on a Friday or Saturday when I'm off work, I will be there. You and I will go. The others are invited as well, if they want to.
That'd be a lot of fun.
All right, so that's actually going to wrap up episode 7 of the On a Family Basis podcast. Again, my name is Jake.
I'm Dan.
Dow.
And we will be back this time next week. So join us again, and hopefully we'll have some lockout news for you. So we'll see you guys.
All the lockout news all the time.
Oh yeah.
24/7 lockout.
Bye.